Hello YouTube viewers, Craven here. I was the guy who was sleeping in the bed while my girlfriend opened up fire on the 12th of May at about 2:38 in the morning, according to the CCTV time. I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate. I haven't even bothered checking it. Doing a heck of a lot more, just securing the place, etc., than worrying about checking the CCTV footage. But essentially, what happened is 3 guys broke into our house, armed with knives. My girlfriend confronted them, and you can watch the video. They ran very quickly. So a lot of people are asking what went through Dricky's mind. Well, from what I can remember, and this is all hearsay obviously, so don't take it as her statement, just what I remember from what she told me, because I asked her, because everyone was asking, what went through your mind? It was a running joke for about 2 days, because everyone is asking, so what happened? What went through your mind? From what I understand, the following happened. You can see in the background there, this is video footage that I haven't actually put on the video. It's just me sleeping in the bed. Maybe if I'm busy talking, you'll actually see me wake up briefly, and then I'll doze off again, look at my sleeping position compared to the video. Anyway, so what went through her mind? First of all, she heard a noise, and I assume this noise, I don't know the times because I wasn't in her bedroom, and she heard a noise, and she basically stirred from her slumber, and then she heard another noise, and then she noticed that the cats weren't on the bed anymore. So I imagine the first noise was perhaps the cats growling, all right? And the second noise, I think they dropped something in the kitchen. And she noticed that the kitchen light wasn't on. And I always switch on the kitchen light when I eat downstairs. So she got up in her bed, listened carefully for a bit, put her glasses on from the nightstand, and she clasped her gun in her hands, got up very carefully and slowly, and started motioning towards the noise. Now, at this point, you must remember a lot of things, according to her, went through her mind. Have they got me hostage? She didn't know what to expect. Is there someone in the house, etc.? But she does say she had a clarity of thought with her instructor saying, hold the gun like this, etc., etc. And she got to the base of the stairs, because our house is on about 7 different levels, and she realized that she didn't want to stumble in the dark, so she put the gun in her one hand, left hand, walked up the stairs, and then at the top of the stairs from her bedroom, she said, okay, this is it. I'm going to clasp the thing correctly. She heard her instructor, Chris Evans, from Aquila Arms, instructing her, like, how get the grip right, etc. Then she heard my voice saying to her, look, if you're going to shoot a gun in a enclosed space, open your mouth. If you haven't got earplugs, it does help with the compression of and the noise. It doesn't disorientate you so much. As she opened her mouth, she smelt the perspiration from these guys. It was very strong, very pungent, and it must have been a case of, the guys were very anxious, very sweaty, etc., because they didn't expect to see 2 people in the house. I think they were watching the house before, and they saw her through the window, and they thought that easy target, woman on her own, we're going to steal a TV and get the hell out of here. Why they had knives, why they motioned towards her bedroom is a mystery to us. Why they didn't go into her bedroom, because the one guy's clearly seen the video, wanting to go to the video, and these guys, they seem to be arguing with each other at one stage about, come, let's go, or let's go get the TV. So as she walked out from her room, she saw a shadow against the wall on the TV landing, and she remembered thinking to herself, oh, it must have been happening exceptionally fast in her head. She thought, what am I going to say now? Am I going to go like freeze? Am I going to say, who are you? Or good morning? Or she actually remembered it, after the fact. It had a bit of a chuckle at it because of the absurdity of it. What is a guy doing in your house at 2:40 in the morning? And all she could think of saying was the most corny thing in her words was freeze. And then the guy didn't do anything. And then she said, who are you? And, or Craven, is that you? Or something along those lines. She doesn't remember that too clearly. And the guy motioned towards her, and she saw a glint of a knife, and that's when she opened up, and she just stepped forward and fired again. But by this time, before the third shot was off, the guy was already outside. All 3 of them had jumped out the window. She kept her gun aimed on the general direction of the target. I heard the shot. The second shot came downstairs, checked the garage to my right. If you look at the video, to my left as I came down the stairs, I stumbled a bit down the stairs. I actually cut my foot. I was coming down so quickly. We found blood in her bedroom a bit later, and it was my blood, but I didn't feel it until the next day. So it must have been one hell of an adrenaline rush that numbed the pain. But I rushed down the stairs, and as I was almost in the kitchen, she said, there's 2 guys. She just saw 2 guys. We didn't see the third guy until later in the CCTV footage. And So I checked the kitchen, checked the garage. I ran behind her, checked the bedroom on the right. You'll see me in the video. Checked the bathroom, checked the bedroom on the left, went to her bedroom, checked the bedroom, pressed the panic button, and then once I was happy about that, I went to the kitchen behind her, switched off the lights because I didn't know if they had firearms or not, and I didn't want her to get shot. And then we went upstairs and waited for the security company. Bit of a turmoil because I had a new phone and the battery had gone dead, and I had to find the SIM card and unlock that. But by that time, at about 8 or 10 minutes, the security company did arrive. But yeah, that's essentially what went through her mind, and a brief explanation of the incident. A couple other questions, some of them are trollish in nature, but this is a Q&A, so I thought, what the hell, everyone deserves. So you've got 2 cameras in the house, one pointed at your bed and the other at your living room. Okay, or dining room. Okay, the reason why the one at the dining room is there, I have a maid who comes in the morning, and when they come in, I get a email when the door is opened. I've set the camera to target the door, to set off a beep, and also to send me an email so that I know when my maid gets there in the morning. So that's why there's one pointing at the door and the dining room. The one in my bedroom is, I've got a very expensive computer here. I've got I'm a gaming guy. I enjoy my games. I had a machine at one stage with 3 780 Ti's in it, running in a configuration which is ideal for gaming. And it's a very expensive unit, and I've got a lot of equipment up here. I'm an IT guy. A lot of toys, and I didn't want anything, with people walking in and out here. I didn't want people to steal my stuff, so my bedroom is secure. That's why there's a camera in my bedroom. There's also a camera hidden on my roof, pointing towards the front of the property, so if someone enters the property, I can see them. There's a camera on the side of the house which records movement there. Now, obviously, in this particular incident, there was no movement on the side of the house. They came from the bottom of the garden, and they broke through there to get into the side window with the television. Now, the crazy thing is, no one knows about this weak spot. So I'm assuming that either a plumber or an electrician or one of their workers, told somebody about this, and that's how they found the weak spot. I've actually suspended my garden service because at the moment, one of my neighbors came to me shortly after the incident and told me that the guy just sits in the vehicle and he never comes into the property. So his staff are wandering around cutting grass, taking note of weak spots. He doesn't know what happens, and then packs them. That's not the way business is done. If you are looking after the lawn or property of other people, and you have staff, they should be supervised. And this guy did not supervise, so he's now lost his place or his contract to look after my property. So. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's quite sad. We are fortunate that, I can afford a maid, I can afford a garden service and a pool service, etc. But I've just suspended those services, and I'll rather hire one person to take care of everything now. I'm not going to do that anymore. Have some guy with odd workers looking after the place. So that was my first mistake, letting someone into my property that wasn't supervising his staff. I'm not saying it was him. That or his staff that caused it, but it's a vulnerability in my security system. So one points at the front of the house, the camera, one points at the side of the house, and the 2 inside. That's why I've got 2 cameras in the video. What is going on when the shot is fired? Did the first shot hit the camera? What's with the particles around the camera? Well, what happens is when you fire a firearm, there's compression in the room. So all the dust would have been jolted off the ceiling, and the infrared light picks up these as orbs. That's why there's a delay between her gunshot and the orbs appearing, because it takes a while for the wave to actually rustle up the dust and to stir it up. And that's why you see the orbs shortly after she fires the shot, about 1 second, about 1.5 seconds after. So that's what and obviously the second shot, there was definitely gun smoke, because you saw it drifting in from the right side of the film as well. Okay. For something that happened 5 days ago, you post what appears to be the next day. Why were your priorities to make snappy content and do some bad video editing? Well, funny enough, I have a YouTube channel that I gave up basically. Well, not gave up, but I just haven't had time. I've been so busy working, and the channel started to feel like a bit of a chore. It's a gaming channel, completely unrelated. And this channel that I'm on here was originally completely unmonetized. There was no money to be made on it whatsoever. I uploaded the video because the police wanted the video quickly. So I sent, and also some media wanted it. So I just spliced something together. It's very easy with, Movie Maker. I'm not an editing expert by any means. I use Movie Maker 2012, which is a Microsoft product. Just put something together, and lo and behold, the frigging thing went viral, sitting at currently on the 24th of May, over 3 million views. Okay. So that's why. Bad video editing. It wasn't intended for anything else except to show the police and the media what happened. That was it. What woke your girlfriend up? They seem to be tiptoeing around. I assume the cat's growling. I think that's what set them up. And then the plate. I think that when they took the knife out the sink, they must have bumped something. Or perhaps they dropped something in the lounge. Who knows? Why aren't there any other views of this happening? I already explained that. And why they pointed at such ambiguous locations, I've already explained that as well. Because the front door covers people coming in, and my room needs to be protected because of the equipment I've got upstairs. Why is there a gun in my hand if I passed out randomly? If you look at the video in the background, you can see the gun is actually under my pillow and my hand is close to it. I think there I heard a noise. Now this is just purely, there's no editing here. You can see I stirred in my sleep there at 2:11. I think shortly thereafter I woke up, I heard a noise, but I didn't register that it was a danger. According to this other guy, asked the question, insomniacs don't pass out at 1 a.m. watching YouTube videos. Yeah, an insomniac by its very nature is someone who can't sleep, so that's what I am. And that's why we sleep apart, because she doesn't get a decent night's sleep. As you can see, I sleep pretty dead. I don't really toss and turn a lot. And that's basically why we sleep apart. We've always slept apart because, I'm generally try to be considerate. It's not the first girlfriend that I've ever dated that, got annoyed with my sleeping habits, and yeah, that's the way it just is sometimes for some people. It works, compromise. Obviously, the guy's never had a woman in his life and learned the valuable lessons of making compromises. Why did the alarm not go off? Okay, we have an alarm system. The sensor, one of the zones, is giving hassles, and this is entirely my fault. I didn't get it fixed sooner, so the alarm was off that night. It's my own fault, and that will not happen again. What gun is that? Well, it is a Taurus 38 Special double-action revolver. That's what it is. I'm going to now take the ammunition out just to point it away. All right. And we've both got the same weapon. It's a revolver. A lot of people say, why don't you get a better gun? The problem is in this country, it takes you a year to get a gun license. And if I buy another gun, I've got to give them a reason why I'm buying another gun. So it could be a year before I get my firearm, and they might be full of nonsense regarding me owning 2 guns. So this thing I bought many, many years ago, and that's pretty much it. It's a 5-shooter, same gun as hers. You can see if it's armed relatively easy. It's a very safe weapon. You've got to really, now the gun is empty, I've checked it. You've got to really pull the trigger. And unless you can fire it single action like this, and now the firing pin is exposed. Or alternatively, you can just pull the trigger like that. So that is it. As you can see, the firing pin, unless you actually pull the trigger, it's on a lock. So that is the firearms both of us use. It's got pretty good stopping power without too much penetration. Use hollow point rounds, and it's pretty good. I've always slept with a gun in close proximity. All right. Why do I sleep apart? I've covered that. What happened to Dricky? She's not sleeping really well because of the ineptitude we've experienced with the service of the current alarm company. But they were here at 11 o'clock last night. They have made some adjustments, and hopefully the darn alarm system will now actually work properly. Now, the problem with South Africa is it takes a hell of a long time to get a license, and the Americans, please, don't let them ever take your rights away. I must say this. In South Africa, we don't have a castle law or a threshold law. We don't have it. If someone's in your house, they basically got to have stabbed you before you're supposed to be able to shoot them. They've got to be a threat to your life. When you shoot someone, you don't have to worry about your own safety. You worry about the fact that what happens after you shoot them. It's crazy. The gun laws in this country are absolutely asinine. They favor the criminal. If a guy's in your house at 3 a.m. in the morning with knives, he's not there to spread the word of Jesus, I assure you. He's there up to mischief. And I mean, Dricky's mom was strangled in broad daylight in her house 2 years ago. It took her a year to get a license. The attackers broke in and casually had snacks from the fridge while she was lying on the floor. She had passed out, fortunately didn't die, but it forced her to sell the house. It's crazy. The Constitution in this country is a complete and utter screw-up. It protects the right of the criminal. You could have a guy climb into your car, and unless he's actually a threat, and he's basically not endangering you, you're not allowed to do anything to him. You're not allowed to chase him out. You've got to run away from the trouble. And this is where bleeding heart liberals really get on my nerves. I'm very conservative regarding guns. I'm liberal about many things, many, many things. I'm secular as far as religion goes. I'm, liberal regarding gay marriage and things like that. But as far as these go, everyone has a right to defend themselves. When somebody steps across the threshold of my house, if they've broken in, they cease to be human. Their rights, in my opinion, should, by law, be relinquished. If you're in my house at 3 a.m. in the morning, you should be allowed to be shot dead. That's it. And that's my opinion. This government is flawed as far as that goes. So South Africa prosecutes the owner of the gun. I mean, the guy can be in my yard, and if he isn't actually basically half on me and stabbing me, I can get into trouble for shooting him. And this is the pressure that you go through. Dricky's main trauma, and she's really going through trauma as far as this goes, is not the shooting, but what can happen to her, because now these guys might come and turn around and say, oh, you fired at me, and I didn't do anything. I mean, this is how absurd the law system is. And this is why the American people should never give up their rights, okay, regarding gun laws. You should be able to defend your home and your family. This is absolute nonsense. It's one of the motivating reasons why it's absurd. It completely punishes law-abiding citizens. We're not allowed to own AK-47s, all right? We're not allowed to own those. But the criminals have them. So that just proves to me that making a gun illegal just gives an advantage to the criminal. It's blatantly obvious. Of course, any bleeding heart liberal moron will never get that. Okay. When did your hair F off? When I was about 21. That's one of the questions, okay. Cats are useless, get dogs. Well, yes, I love dogs, and I used to have big dogs when I had a small holding, but unfortunately this yard and my time, the way I work late at night, I don't really have time to walk a dog. And another thing, my cats are my companions. I talk to them. I know it's terrible, crazy cat man, but I don't buy a dog or an animal as an appliance to protect my property. I buy an animal, a pet, because I like it. That's what I do. And unfortunately, it would be very cruel for me to keep a big dog. It really would be. And a small dog, I don't like them. They get on my nerves. They bark at too many things that are not a threat, so they'll set off many false alarms. So in my opinion, they're just a threat. South Africa's security is through the roof. We all have security bars. We all have, this is a question I'm reading, how's the South African security? We pretty much all live in fear of our lives when we sleep at night. If you don't, you're a moron. You don't actually comprehend the scale of violence. South Africa's violence in 2014 was reported at being 47 murders a day, which is equivalent of a war zone. In 2012, it was between 8 and 12 times the murder rate of America. That's South African murder statistics. It is a very, very violent place, all right? And when the law favors the criminal, that is what happens. My brother-in-law has been extorted. My mom has been stabbed. My sister, my girlfriend's mom was strangled. Her aunt was murdered 6 months prior to the strangling. It's obscene. I mean, this country's law and judicial system is ridiculous. We have a president who's been involved allegedly in an arms scandal, and he's still president. We have a president who allegedly went and raped a woman, okay? And then you know what he did? This woman had HIV. He said, yes, I knew she had HIV, and I had a shower afterwards, and I washed the disease off. This is the sort of mentality, the sort of corruption, the sort of cunning that permeates the upper ranks of this country's political system. And therefore, if the leaders can get away with so much chaos, all right, why would the common folk not follow suit? And if the leadership appears to be corrupt, then the commoners are going to be corrupt as well, because they think they can get away with it. I mean, these guys, they'll probably get a slap on the frigging wrist, maybe a year or 2 in jail. That is it. If that, they'll probably go, oh, so sorry. The prisons are just too full. We'll just, you can go. Why do I sleep with my gun in my hand? I don't actually sleep. Oh, I've woken up in the video. There you can see it, about 2:21 I woke up. And you'll see I fell asleep eventually. So, completely gone. Now, at this point, I think I heard a noise in my sleep, and my hand had actually... Now, when I'm sleeping, I sleep like this usually, or like that. I'm not... Actually, you've got to pull this. It's quite a bit of force you've got to use to pull the trigger. So I sleep with the gun close. I either sleep on it or close. I also have a combat knife, which is about a 6-inch blade, and I keep that handy as well. I also have a shotgun, which I now keep in a secure, hidden location at night when I sleep. So yeah. What were you watching on YouTube? Ironically enough, quantum physics, and anything to do with astronomy, etc., etc. That's what I was watching. Security upgrades. Okay, this is what I've done. I've spent about $4,000 on an alarm system, which has been an absolute headache to get working. It's the top-of-the-range system. The skill shortage in this country for qualified people is just embarrassing. I tell you, people will never come to this country because it's so violent. The quality of life is completely overwhelmed by the violence, the crime, the corruption, and everything else. The policies of the government are completely anti-white, anti-investor, anti-immigration, etc. It is a backward, medieval... It's a typical African country at the moment. That's the way it is. I used to be optimistic about this country. I've become progressively more anti South Africa. I don't declare myself a South African because I refuse to associate with the behavior of our politicians, of the people that condone the behavior of our government by constantly voting the same morons into power. I put in Gates, which cost me about 35. I'm just basically throwing these around. It's about 10 to 12 times. It's about 12 Rand to the dollar at the moment. I spent about $3,500 on Gates, stronger 12mm steel gates and window bars. I've put in a brand new alarm system, cost me about $4,000. I've put up new lighting, which was about $500 to $1,000. That's not complete, but the gates and the alarm is in and it's working. The beams work. We're having an issue with that at the moment, but it's getting sorted. Advice for gun owners. If you're American, someone's in your house with a knife, shoot the bastard. All right. If they're in your house, they have relinquished all their rights to live. And don't give me this nonsense about they didn't do nothing, they're good boys. You shoot them dead. All right. I don't care if the guy's white, Chinese, frigging black, whatever. If he's in your house, he has no place being there, he's endangering your family, remove him from the gene pool. Okay. The other thing, in a situation like this, don't ever go looking for trouble. And don't ever purchase a firearm unless you have the ability to kill someone. This is not a toy to scare someone with. All right. The guy advanced on my girlfriend while she had a loaded gun in her hand. It's possible he didn't see it, but it's silver. It should have reflected. All right. The guy still advanced thinking it's a woman. She's not going to shoot me. He fortunately found out the hard way that, she would kill him. This is not a toy. If you are not prepared to use it to kill someone, to defend yourself, do not buy it, because then all you're going to do is give it to a criminal. All right. If you have an alarm system, use it. Early warning is far better than what happened to us. It was stupid. The alarm should have been on. It's our fault. It should have been done. All right. But that doesn't stop them from. Recently, I saw a video of Brazil where the guys, came in behind him on the garage, and fortunately, the guy shot him several times in the chest and killed the perpetrator, which is justice served the best way, cold. All right. And that's not revenge, it's justice. All right. Alarm, use it. Gun, like I said, use it. If a guy's got a knife, don't be fooled. Especially if he's in close proximity, blast the guy. They've done studies with knives. You can Google this on YouTube. Knife attacker versus a policeman. It takes a guy who's got this is a trained professional, a cop, who's got his gun holstered. It takes 20-foot distance before he can adequately move out the way and establish control of the situation. You have no idea how fast a guy with a knife can move, all right? All right, so that's pretty much it. I've mentioned the president already. So, is South African grass greener? We've got a lot of people coming to this country the government likes to boast. Yes, Africans, because their countries have an even worse shithole than this place. And trust me, this place is going there very soon. I know I'm probably fueled by anger. I'm stoked on caffeine, lack of sleep, because the alarm system has been a trying process putting it in, all right? I'm still considering doing a complete full video regarding the company that actually put in our alarm system. The level of service and incompetence that I've experienced in the last few days has been overwhelming, to the point where I've basically threatened them with legal letters. The security companies in this country are like vultures. They just prey on you on the weak. They use fear, and then they don't necessarily protect your interests. It's a case of, put this fancy alarm system in, but we just won't maybe monitor it. They will now, because I've made damn sure of that. And there's possibly legal litigation revolving forward. But I don't want to comment too much on that at this point. But at the moment, we're sleeping securely at night. That's all that matters. Most of the burglar bars are almost complete or done. We have a safe zone to sleep in. But this, in spite of the fact that I've got there you just see the guys, they were inches away. Another thing, don't for one moment think that those guys got upstairs, even with my gun in my hand, I would have shot them. They would have stabbed me 5 times before I got a shot off, all right? Don't ever underestimate the power of a knife, all right? If I'm wandering around the house, I would prefer to have I'd prefer to have a knife handy rather than a firearm in close proximity, or a shotgun. Shotgun's even better. But people don't go flying backwards. One shot does not drop a perpetrator. You need a 3 or 4 sometimes to stop somebody, unless it hits a vital organ, in which case they'll drop immediately. But that is very rare. Also, you always aim for the body. If you ever have to shoot someone, you aim for the biggest target, the body. And in South Africa, you certainly don't aim to disable them. You aim for the body, because dead men tell no lies. I'm just happy that my girlfriend handled the situation. I'm eternally grateful to her. She's everything that I expected from her. A strong woman, a logical woman. I couldn't ask for anyone better. We share the similar ideals. We argue a lot, what happens with all couples. We are fiercely independent, and we don't have this nonsense of needing to complete each other. We are independent people who, when we do things together, are happy. It's a relationship that works. At this moment, I really and truly don't have any faith in this country anymore, and New Zealand is looking a lot more appealing than ever before, but I'm never a person to make rash decisions. I am, however, and funny enough, I made a Patreon video. You can check my gaming channel about 2-3 months ago about how bad things are getting here, and I'm setting up an emergency fund. This is after the things that were going on in Parliament, where people were fist fights in Parliament. The ruling party did all sorts of wonderful things, and we thought, this is the end of democracy. We are currently having load shedding. There's periods of time where we don't have power for 2.5 hours. We have periods of the water comes out the tap brown. We've got to have special filters. We have to buy generators. This country has come from a beautiful, pristine place to an absolute cesspool of corruption and crime, and I don't feel safe here anymore. But like I said, I'm not a guy to make rash decisions, but I am making emergency measures available, moving as much of my cash overseas. And this is something that I've started doing 2-3 months ago. Never in my wildest dreams did I think something like this would happen. And I'm mind-boggled. Sorry for rambling and ranting, guys. I hope you guys have a bit more clarity regarding the situation. If you have any other questions, ask me. I don't know, this YouTubing thing, at first I didn't even monetize the thing. I uploaded it to this channel for the police to have a look at, which was a completely unmonetized channel. And then someone called me and said, dude, we can monetize this video for you. So I said, okay, fine. It was at about 40,000 views, which is a hell of a lot. And I said, okay, fine, do it. I suppose I'll earn a couple of bucks out of it. But I mean, the cost that this has been, first of all, the depreciation of the value of my property, the $7,500, $8,000 I've spent on the YouTube views don't even come close to covering that. It's just, I'd rather just live in a house, have my own, I'd like to have my feeling of safety back, and I don't have that anymore, and I don't know if I could ever have it back. And I mean, I got family here, my staff, my company. I mean, the guys that have been with me 15, 16 years, and I love them more than family. I really do. But what sort of life is living in a country like this where you have to essentially, I can't sleep upstairs anymore. I lock myself in a cage every night. I mean, girlfriend has not slept. She's been wired on caffeine for about 5 or 6 more days. She's got an exam coming up. She's freaking out because she's worried she's not going to pass it, because with lack of sleep, you can't study properly. Her boss has been very supportive of her, and she's really a strong woman. It's just that I can't tell her to calm down because the shit has happened. It's real. There's a threat to our lives here. These guys can come in any time. I mean, they could do anything. They could get us outside the property. This place is not safe. And we live in, honest to God, guys, we are probably one of the most safest neighborhoods in Port Elizabeth. It's just, crime is going out of control. Anyway, I hope this doesn't ever happen to you guys. If you want, you can watch my gaming channel. Not that it's got anything related to this. The person who watches this video isn't going to go watching a computer gaming channel, but I've made a Patreon video there where I was appealing to people to help with my emergency exit fund. But I don't expect much of that. It's just, I'm not a beggar. I just didn't expect this at all. I really didn't. This has been probably the most traumatic experience that I've ever had in my life. It's just, my entire safety has been shattered. I just don't feel safe in this country anymore. Besides, the government going after me with my business, in that I've got to employ black people in order to get government tenders. I've got to give away my business in order to get, there's a policy called affirmative action where everything in this country counts against me. I'm beginning to severely question why I'm wasting my 18 years of skill as an IT professional with Condura Technologies. Why I'm wasting my time here if I'm not appreciated, if this is the way my government looks after me. If people break into my house, they want to arrest me or my girlfriend for defending ourselves. What possible reason can you have for having a knife? I mean, anyway, I've ranted enough. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If there's any queries, please ask in the comments below. And I apologize sincerely if I'm coming across as aggressive. I haven't spoken to anyone about this really much, and I suppose this is probably the first venting that I've actually done. It's been really difficult. Anyway, I hope this doesn't happen to you, and I hope everything for the best for you guys. Maybe I'll do some more videos on this channel, but until then, whatever happens, happens, and I hope you take care and your family and that are safe. Keep well. Cheers. Craven out.